Hello, this is Brian Funk, and thank you for listening to the Music Production Podcast. I'm very excited to announce that my new book, The 5-Minute Music Producer, is now available in paperback form, a real book that you can hold and touch and turn to any page you like in a second. And it's a pretty big book, 629 pages of activities, exercises, and wisdom I've learned over the years. It's available on Amazon.com. 5-Minute Music Producer is 365 music-making activities that will help with your songwriting and music production. It'll help you fight writer's block, make more music, write better lyrics, develop solid workflows, learn techniques for generating ideas, and finish more music. It's like having your very own music production personal trainer giving you ideas and challenges each day. And the best part is the challenges are quick and easy, and they only take a few minutes. So even if you don't have a lot of time, you can spend 5 minutes and advance your music production skills. There's no better time to improve your music than now. Imagine where you'll be after a year of these activities. The 5-Minute Music Producer has hit the #1 new release in the music songwriting and music recording and sound categories on Amazon. So check out the 5-Minute Music Producer, 365 music-making activities. It's available on Amazon.com, or you can go to brianfunk.com/book. Hello, welcome to the Music Production Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Funk. And on today's show, I feel like I have a guest who's been a long time coming. It's Yeuda Ben-Atar, a.k.a. Sidebrain. Yeuda's been... How long have you been a certified trainer for Ableton?
Since 2011 or 2010, something like that.
2010, 11. Yeah, so welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you so much.
I interrupted my introduction, but basically, I've been following your work for a long time, and I've learned tons from you. I've used your presets. You've got a lot of cool presets and stuff coming out now. You're doing a study group, which is where people can interact and learn from you, and it seems like it's very customizable. When you were running Beat Lab Academy, constant stream of great stuff, and you've definitely affected the lives of many people that have used Ableton Live. I think the first time I saw you was when you were using that Dreamcast controller I see in the background.
Right here, yes.
Yeah, playing around with that. That was really cool. You can even tell us about that maybe at some point. Absolutely. But I just want to say, thanks for being here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. It's I've been following you for a long time as well, and pleasure being here. Thank you for having me. Very excited.
Yeah, I think we're like two planets that just didn't orbit past each other for some reason.
Absolutely. Pleasure finally doing this. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have you here, man. I love what you do. I think you've got a great attitude about it with helping other people, supporting, sharing your knowledge. And I've always found too that has helped me grow because I don't have these little secrets that I rely on. And of course, when you try to teach something, you really have to know it, and you learn a lot about it as you have to put it into words. And you've done such a great job sharing that. So let me just say thank you first for all the work you've done.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I'm wondering, maybe we'll just jump right into what you're up to right now. You've put together a really awesome preset pack for Drift.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So we can, let's go into just the stuff that I'm in right now, which you did mention it, the study group and the Drift sample preset pack. I just kind of went into the Drift, the new synthesizer that Ableton released, and it's great because it's kind of available for all versions, and it's very friendly for beginners. So I figured that would be a great way to kind of just expose myself more to a bigger audience, releasing this Drift preset pack. I did discover a bug, which I got officially recognized, and they will take care of it, which, let me just say it right now, if you guys ever look at the Drift and you see that small R that it's supposed to be re-triggering the phase of the oscillators between the two oscillators, it doesn't do anything. So they will fix it very soon. But
it doesn't.
It doesn't do anything. So
see, I thought maybe like I just don't hear it. Like,
oh my god,
I played with it. I'm like trying to listen.
Dude, you don't understand. I had 2 days calling Ableton, calling all the certified trainers. I know, guys, you gotta check this out. Like, am I going crazy? I can't come up with an example of when this button works. So after getting connected with Ableton, and eventually we were just able to kind of record with and without, invert the phase just to prove that it's perfectly canceled, and there's an issue there.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they're gonna fix that through the exploration, and I'm very proud of this pack. It's push 3 friendly, MPE mapped with all the new features. There's a lot of cool sound design tricks there for the nerds who want to open up the racks and check them out. It's on my website, sidebrain.net, which I still do .net. Some Japanese dudes own sidebrain.com, so for years now. But so sidebrain.net.
Right.
The other thing you mentioned, and I'm up to right now, is you mentioned I had the school. I had Beat Lab Academy. That was kind of like my baby. I opened it up back in 2014, and it's right here in the neighborhood where I live in Los Angeles. It's called Eagle Rock. It used to be an awesome small school. We started small, then we grew a bit bigger over the years. It was amazing, great community. We were all about the community, and we were just like a short, kind of like like a 6-month course, kind of like schools like Dubspot and the likes. 6-month course, music production. It's like my second home. Amazing stuff, amazing people. But at the end, right before the pandemic started, right at the beginning of the pandemic, kind of felt the pandemic and everything was going on with my personal life. I eventually had to close it about 2 years ago. So since then, I kind of went back of doing similar things, but just me personally at my home, teaching online weekly. And right now what we're doing is every week we're talking, dissecting, analyzing, and producing a different style. Like 3 weeks ago, we did like ambient jungle, and then last week we did 2-step garage, like Craig David and stuff like that, which I love. And we did I'm a piano. This week is reggaeton. So maybe I can share a link in some way, but you can go and join the newsletter, and then you just get notification of those topics. And if you ever want to join, feel free. It's every Sunday. So that's mostly what I'm doing. Yes. And I need to have more time. Maybe we'll talk about that in a second. But for all the Dreamcast stuff and all those, I will briefly mention this. But yeah, a lot of people know me through these type of things, which I still love. I love this.
Yeah, you're holding it right now, which is awesome. And I used those to play video games when I was younger. But you use it to make music. It's an arcade stick. It's got 6 buttons, and it's got the traditional, it looks like an arcade machine thing. It's used literally for the Sega Dreamcast, which was such an awesome system, but kind of had a real short life. I think timing and things didn't work out for Sega.
Failed in the market, unfortunately.
Yeah, it just kind of didn't last. Had a lot of fun games, but what you've done with the controller was really pretty revolutionary, especially at the time. Because
appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so how it started I moved to the US in 2009, and I was still fresh off the boat. English speaking, because in Israel you start learning English in 2nd grade, but still very not. I couldn't crack a joke if we were standing in a circle of people. I still had to think about it, reverse it in my head, then tell it 5 minutes passed, we lost the momentum. But I went to a friend's place. He was a game collector. He had all the gaming consoles ever, all the remotes, classic games, like a collector. And in the corner of the room, it was this thing that was just sitting there. He didn't use it. This is the kind of arcade stick fighting versions for all the fighting games for the video, in this case, the Dreamcast. I asked him, hey, can I borrow it? Maybe I can do something with it. At the time, I had any technical abilities, hacking, soldering, coding, nothing. I just was bored, because I didn't have a working permit, a working visa at the time. Just bored, and took that home, start tinkering with it, start looking online. At the beginning, there were softwares, mostly built in Macs at the time, that were able to just translate the messages of this to MIDI. And then if it's MIDI, it's MIDI. It's MIDI. We all know it's quite easy today with softwares like Ableton to do whatever you want with it. So I had to buy this, that you can still get, this adapter. This costs like I'm sorry, I'm on manual Zoom. This costs like $10, and then you plug it into your computer with USB. And once you can translate, today I have custom Max for Live devices that I make for this type of things. So from there, I start uploading videos on YouTube of kind of hacking this type of stuff. People really like that. And where is it? I also, right before I moved, my my girlfriend at the time bought me, alongside with my family, this Monomi, whatever you call it, which I think, the only one in Israel who ever heard of the thing. This was auctioned by Flying Lotus on eBay, because you couldn't even get it at the time. I'm talking like 2007, 8 in Israel. No one would even hear about. Even today, it's kind of a small niche kind of community, even though we can now see that from this grew all the other controllers, like the push even for today, all the kind of grid controllers like this.
Yeah.
So this, alongside this, kind of got me into this community of LA nerdy musician hackers. The most notable figure in this community is Daedalus, if anyone know, the amazing musician that used one of the pioneers of this device. And I was amazed, first of all, culturally, because Israel is such a small country. There's no way I'm the only one there, And all of a sudden I come to LA. You on the forums, how nerdy I am. On the forum, meeting with scheduling and meeting with other people of the same interest. It was incredible. It was amazing for me culturally to come to a place where, oh my God, someone can entertain my niche nerdy, hobby. So that was amazing. And what then led me to start exploring other controllers, just because it kind of became my shtick. When I used to perform as Sidebrain, I used to perform a lot in LA. That's how people used to remember me. So then I start doing like other type of controllers. And by the way, anyone can get this today for like $5, $7 on Amazon, and just plugging into hopefully a software that can do stuff like Max, like coding, and use it as a MIDI controller. Okay, and I did other stuff like the Power Glove. If you remember the Power Glove, like a failed. Yeah. Do I have? It's somewhere here. It's like used to be a failed product, kind of like a video game product with motion sensing, but became iconic cultural.
It's one of those things as a kid everybody wanted until you tried it, and then you're like,
and it sucked.
Yeah, it was such a letdown.
I think it still retain a cultural significance. And there's even a documentary about the glove called "The Power of the Glove." I think you can watch it in like online. The Power of the Glove, and they go and interview a bunch of people who took that glove and used it as a fashion statement, or they interviewed me as kind of music hacking thing. There's one guy who is like editing animation. He did some crazy stuff with the glove. So all of this kind of gaming that I obviously came from that world. I love games. I still play games, but it was amazing for me to be able to connect those two worlds of gaming and music, thanks to all these controllers that you just play beats on. So once I released this controller, I made a beat on this one, and I put it on YouTube, and it got to the first page of Reddit at the time, 2009, I don't know when was it. So from then I kind of like, okay, wow, I think I have something cool here, and start going with all those video game controllers, then start building my own controllers. And I remember one day, I'm sorry, let me know if I'm just...
This is great.
Okay, good. So Ableton, still this today, thank you Ableton, are sending artists to me, or me to artists, like big artists, to train them whatever they need in Ableton, live performance, production, songwriting, sound design, whatever it is, as a specialist, as a product specialist coming and training those artists. One of those artists, one of the early artists that Ableton connected me to was DJ Newmark. DJ Newmark is one of the DJs for a big hip-hop group from the 90s called Jurassic 5. In 2013 or something like that, around there, Coachella 2013, they did a reunion. Newmark, after I trained him as an Ableton trainer, we got connected, he's a great guy. He called me, said, dude, can you build me a controller that is a necklace that just have a lot of vinyls, records on it, and every time I hit a vinyl, it's a different sound. Essentially, he wanted a huge necklace of vinyls that's a drum machine. You can go and look up Jurassic 5 reunion, Coachella. You'll see them at the end, at part of one of the show. He comes out with this necklace, that I've built that I had no idea how to do, but you just say yes and then you figure it out. What I did, it turned out great. And there was also a second version of the necklace after. Cat Chemist, who's the other DJ of Jurassic 5, came out with this crazy kind of guitar-like CDJ kind of looking thing. And they even have this huge turntable on stage, like a lot of props, because the DJs in this hip-hop group do get a lot of spotlight. It's not only the rappers. Anyway, so all of this kind of came into controllerism. I also got to shout out some of my influencers at the time that I watched from Israel, like Moldover. Moldover, people in the community know him. People outside the community might not know him so well because, he's not, I would say, his innovation in controllerism really inspired me to do all of this stuff. And I remember there was like a really old video of him with like a hacked Novation SL Mark II keyboard. Like everything is like tinkered with and hacked. And he explained
together
what controllerism and yeah. So I just want to shout out him and all the Daedalus and all the community of the kind of like this LA nerdy beat scene. And of course, all the Low End Theory. I don't know how famous Low End Theory is, but when I came to the LA, it was like, for me, it was a mind-boggling experience of going to the Low End Theory. It was used to be in the Airliner Club in LA. They still exist, the Airliner, but they don't do the Low End Theory anymore. And it used to be these legendary nights that I remember when I got here, it was empty. Every Wednesday, it was empty. A year later, you can't even go in. It's so packed. Or like Prince just came to check it out. Erykah Badu in the audience, stuff like that, because it was so legendary, so the kind of innovative underground LA beats, what used to be known as LA beats. It used to be so, it's still surreal for me to think that I experienced that as a local, air quotes, because I'm a foreigner, of course. So yeah, all of that kind of community of nerds, controllerisms, and of course the kind of LA beat scene, the music behind what I was trying to make. I own that, all my experience of LA and the music and all of that stuff. Now, when it comes to education, so that's kind of like the music and the controllers and because I don't do much of this in class, right? This is just for me. The education part, which is the main thing that I do today, and content and tutorials and like preset packs, stuff like that, that came, I would say, very early on in my life when I went to I'm not trying to trigger any people. This is a super sensitive topic right now, but I grew up in Israel. Israel, it's mandatory to go to the army. When you're 18, after high school, they send you off to basic training. It's not I wish I had with college. The college experience looks amazing. I'm so jealous. But we went to the army, and in the army, I was a dog trainer. And they wanted me to stay and teach the young soldiers how to like be a dog trainer. And very early on, I was 18, teaching kids. I saw I had this natural way of explaining things. In that time was just how to train dogs, but I was explaining that. After the army, I went to music school in Tel Aviv, and I was the guy that my classmates are calling to solve technical issues. Hey, dude, the crack plugin doesn't download. How do I crack it? So I also noticed, hey, whoa, why everyone's calling me? Why? So very early on, I noticed that I'm technically savvy. I'm very fluent or natural with this, everything that is technology or just kind of solving troubleshooting and stuff. And also how I explain seems to be in a very simple way, kind of explaining kind of these complex topics, which led me to do the certification program, the Ableton Certification Program, back in 2010. It was in Miami. They sent us to Miami. And I remember I was so nervous. I never was nervous as I was there, like the day before the certification program. We got there, I think 5 people, only 2 of us passed. And I remember it was like incredible. It really validated, okay, I think now I can represent being a certified trainer, with honor. And since then, I try to help as much as I can train other certified trainers. There's a list of who I'm helped pass the certification program. It's very important for me, for the certified trainers to maintain a super high level of presentation and technical skill, because it reflects on all of us, and I still want that certification program of Ableton that they maintained as something that is very, not as open as other certification programs for other software, which I appreciate. It gives some credibility to this status. So that's how the education part came. And once I became certified trainer, I start working in all the music schools in LA, SAE, Creativity was called at the time, Scratch Academy, all the schools in LA before I opened my school. And once I opened my school, that was my thing for 7 years. And now I'm doing my thing again, but privately, just as Cybrain.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's an awesome story, and it's so cool that you were able to find that, as somebody moving into America, where you have kind of like a place already. And I think Los Angeles and New York are one of those are the types of places, once you're there, you're kind of part of it. They're designed that way. There's people from all over the world that show up.
Exactly.
And you found your spot, and you were right there at the right time too, because a lot of these people and these events you're talking about are the very same things for me, where I kind of realized that you can do electronic music, computer music live in a way that's actually interesting, where it's not just you're playing a CD or an iPod or something like that.
So you might have
performance.
You might have had the same existential crisis where your parents thought you were a DJ for years, and I don't even know what to explain to them that I'm not a DJ. I was never a DJ. I don't know how to DJ. It's a whole nother world. But
I'm still
at the time, you're still struggling with it?
Oh, I am. I DJ'd a wedding last weekend, and I don't. It's the second one I've ever done, and they're favors really for friends and family.
That's nice. That's nice. No, that is nice.
What I realized right away was it's not just playing music. It's not just putting on a playlist. There's a whole. You're part of the staff and getting this event. It was so in over my head, and the thing is, the people that you're doing it for, they know, and yeah, you're just helping us out. But everyone else expects a professional.
They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know, and they're looking at me like, "What are you doing?" Like, that's not how it goes.
Yeah. No, but dude, weddings are. I'm sure it was fun.
I'm very happy I was able to help, but it's
amazing.
I would never dare try to say to anybody that that's what I do.
Right.
But you're right. Like a lot of what we do when we perform, say with Ableton Live, there's definitely cues that are taken from DJs. Some of those techniques and those movements, the filter sweeps, and mixing between tracks can be part of it. And that's what I really learned with a lot of these people. Moldover, Tom Kazum was doing that, and they were doing songs. They were making original music on the spot, and it was interesting. And it was done through computers and controllers, and that's also like around the time when your stuff started coming up. And you're also doing this. I should just remind everybody, this is before Max for Live. So now Max for Live is built into Ableton, and it's really useful. And there's so many devices now. But you were flying. You're one of the reasons, I'm sure, why it's now incorporated into the software for the stuff people like you were doing.
I don't know, but yes, it was before Max for Live. It was still Max, but standalone, separate software. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. Max for Live is amazing, and I don't want to take credit for any. I'm not.
Okay. Well, that came out of my mouth. But I do think people like you that were pushing those boundaries were probably an influence, if nothing else, to say like, hey, maybe we can kind of do some integration.
No, could be. And I'm glad they did. I'm very glad.
Yeah.
And I'd also want to point out for the DJing stuff that I think it's coming like as a pyramid, and everything kind of blurs now. And there's so much stuff that DJs are doing that can kind of be considered live production almost. And like you said, a lot of stuff that us live electronic musicians are doing that are essentially DJing in some ways.
Yeah, it's exciting. And I tell a lot of people, when you're building your live set for performance, it's an instrument you're building, really. You've got these devices and instruments, but you're it's not like a guitar where you just pick it up and now you're playing it. You also have to build it, and you have to
Mm,
figure out how it works. So
you're
there's
right.
another level of complexity to it.
I feel like if you do build it, you can get to a point where you pick it up and play, but you have to build it. It's yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, and it's part of the fun, I would say, and it's never
Mhm.
ending. You're always
Yes.
building it, like you're always improving it or repairing it.
The set I use for live performance is the same. It's like an ancestor, or would it be? Yeah,
You still use
ancestor,
like
right?
a
Uh,
generation of
yes, it was originally made in probably Live 8 or 9, and it's well over 10 years old.
amazing.
And-
To be
but it's just
completely honest,
iterated.
I can be completely honest. I performed for years, hundreds of shows with a computer and controllers. A lot of it was the push two at a time, push one. Of course, the video game controllers and stuff. The Power Glove I used to perform a lot. The last 2 years, I did maybe like 2, 3 shows.
Hmm.
None of them were with a computer. It was all just the keyboard synthesizers. And I gotta say, the kind of just the heavy, not the heaviness, just the kind of the worrying about troubleshooting that is
Yeah.
not existing anymore. Just the worry of the computer and everything that is involved with it, for me, was allowed me to enjoy the show and the performance better. And I never really tried to perform without a computer. So these
Hmm.
past 2 years were very revealing for me, and they were amazing. And not to say, I just don't want, not to say that there wasn't a computer on stage, because I had other band members, but I was for the first time not the one with the laptop, not the one as the Ableton musician in the group. And it was amazing. So
Yeah.
yeah, what I'm saying is, as an Ableton musician, also comes a lot of responsibility. And
Hmm.
it means that you have to also know how to troubleshoot and be prepared and calm down and everything's okay, and be prepared if things happen mid performance, what to do. But having been liberated from the computer was a great experience for me.
Yeah. And I had a similar experience in playing with a band again, playing guitar. I see you got some
Exactly.
guitars.
Yes.
And
Everything's live automation.
yeah, right. It's sometimes that just blows my mind. I pick up an acoustic guitar and I don't have to turn it on. I don't need batteries. I don't need controllers. It just goes. It's
It
always
just
on.
goes.
You don't have to charge it.
It's a different experience. It's different getting
Yeah.
lost. Yeah, absolutely, dude. I don't know if you see, I have a bunch of guitars. It's not even all
Yep.
of them. I love it. I love it so much.
Mhm.
Although the last couple of years were more keys and piano, but guitars will always have a special place.
Right. Yeah. Now
Yes.
these meetings you're doing, the study
Oh,
group, you
yes.
wanna tell me
Yeah.
about that a little bit? Because this is
So,
something I do a little bit myself, more monthly thing, but I've
mhm.
personally been wanting to get into doing it more often because for one, it's a very good discipline. And that's something I've learned by committing myself to doing certain things that when I first started releasing packs, I said, I'm going to do one every week. And
Mm.
it gave me such a discipline that
You did
I
it for
used
a
to,
long time.
yeah, it was over a year. And then pretty kept consistent and still make them very regular. But it came at a time where I was in a band and the discipline kind of came automatically because we had practice a couple times a
Mhm.
week. But then once that fell away, I needed something that would give me that on my own. And that was a
Mm.
big part of it, just that it got me creating music and playing with sounds all the time in a direction, not just kind of strumming the guitar or whatever. Um, but yeah, I want to ask you about how that study group's going and
Mhm.
how you've set it up, all that
Yeah, yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
gritty stuff.
Okay, so since I closed the school, I kind of took this forced but still sabbatical of kind of like just, oh my God, I ran a business for 7 years. Give me a
Yeah.
second to just breathe mentally. Then I started kind of looking into, okay, I worked for this plugin company for a couple of months, Polyverse, if anyone knows, great
Yeah.
plugins. Um, as a content director, and then they had some layoffs, so I just like kind of, okay, let me see what's up. Maybe the schools, I cannot longer charge what I used to charge 10 years ago. I feel like I'm also much more established with my experience of teaching, so I'm too expensive for schools. So I figured, okay, I gotta do something on my own. And it came kind of naturally is one day I got somewhat upset with the world. I can't find a job that can hold me financially, let me do my own thing. So I started doing these weekly things, which is also connected to BeatLab. BeatLab used to have workshops, kind of these one-time workshops, where we talk about specific styles of music. When I was, and I'm connecting a lot of different things in my life right now. When I was in the army, probably as a way of escapism, just escaping reality of being an 18-year-old in the army. I was a pacifist. They gave me a rifle. What do you want from me? I'm an 18-year-old kid. So my way of escaping it was just having headphones all the time, listening to music. That was the days of Soul Sick. I don't know if anyone remember. It's kind of like a irritation of Napster. In the early kind of
Okay.
mid 2000s. It was Napster, right? You can download music from other people's computers online, and it allowed me give me access to this endless world of unknown music that I never heard before, because they release new albums, music from around the world, and I, in a fanatic way, in an extreme way, was listening to new music, and that's an important point. It was new music, not necessarily new 2000, whatever the year was, but new to me, music that I never heard. And the amount of music that I listened to in those 3 years, you have to serve for 3 years, is enormous, is crazy. And through those listening of the music, I just start kind of analyzing it for myself, just to differentiate between the different styles, the different genres, and asking myself questions. Wait, what makes this genre this? Read up about it online, research it, and really and then just yap about it to my friends that didn't care, maybe cared, but I was just like, oh, this genre, oh, this subgenre, all those things. And what kind of led me to my most favorite classics today, which is talking about specific styles, where they come from, why are they those styles, what makes them, and of course, also together with the students producing something in that style. So the study group started in that sense, where I just give them to ask any questions and they lead the 2-hour session. And at the beginning, it was a lot of drum programming, bass line, stuff like that. And in recent weeks, we're just talking about specific styles. This Sunday is reggaeton, and last week was Amapiano, and all these amazing styles that are great to explore, and I also think is extremely beneficial for people who are learning music production, as this essentially is how music develops, by taking all your favorite influence and kind of combining to one new style that is you. So knowing a broad range of styles, I think, can only be beneficial for more music production techniques, aesthetic kind of like colors, and just overall vibe and stuff like that. So that's what we do every week in the study group.
That's great.
Yes.
And it's such a good point about learning new styles. And I got to experience that when I was learning computer production, whether it started with Pro Tools and Logic and eventually got to Live. So much of the information that was on YouTube in those early days, when you first started to realize YouTube was more than just videos, you can learn from it. There was so much electronic music going on at that time. And it wasn't what I was into, but I learned so many cool techniques that helped me in other styles, and it really broadened my interest in other styles too. And at this point now, pretty much anything you can put on, I can find interest, whether it's the songwriting, whether it's the rhythms, whether it's just the production. Because you start to just see everything as something you can kind of pick and take and put in your own little mix there.
Absolutely. It's interesting you say that, because I also feel the same. I think it's some sort of kind of like sonic audible maturity of just, there used to be some styles when I was young that I would not listen to. Specifically, there's a style in Israel which belongs. Israel is kind of like a combination of all the Jews. There's Arab Jews, there's Eastern European Jews. Eastern European Jews from Poland, from Russia, from there. Arab Jews, like North Africa, Yemen, Iraq, Iran, all those. Syria, everything. My dad is from Tunisia. My mom is from Poland. That's how we live. So kind of the accumulation of everything that it's What are we talking about? I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
Oh, just the collecting the different ingredients from different places.
Exactly. So there was one music that I hated, which is kind of like the Middle Eastern Israeli music, which is, I guess, the parallels for the Western ear is Arabic music, and I would not listen to it. And I can tell you today, I absolutely adore it. I love it. And I take a lot of inspiration. I have a special guitar here called oud. You can't really see it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this really old school Middle Eastern guitar.
A lot of extra strings on there, right?
A lot of it's all double.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like it's a maturity thing, but also interesting. I read an article that said that people after the age of 30 stop listening to new music. They mostly listen to music that they know and like. So I wonder if it's just because we're a musician or that article was completely bogus.
No, I think it's right. And I think you almost get frozen in like your teenage years. I think they say that I've read that about men, like we just stop changing fashion from like whenever we were like
we get stuck
about 20 years old, and then we just stay there.
Something true about that. I can see that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I think as a musician, you're curious because I know I listen to a lot of music. It's almost a selfish way of listening where it's, what can I get from this? What can I add to my own stuff? How can I take something from this? So I don't mind going to new places and exploring new things because I know that maybe that might plant a seed that inspires me to do something tomorrow. And that's kind of what I'm looking for almost every time I listen to music now, is like inspiration, something to get me excited to go do it myself.
I can't agree more. I'm looking for the weird stuff, stuff that I haven't heard before. So very exciting.
Yeah, and I think if I didn't have that, I'd probably be sticking to a lot of the stuff that I grew up on and that helped me identify myself as whoever I am.
Right. No, absolutely.
Yeah. But that's the beauty of it, is that it keeps growing, it keeps changing, there's more stuff all the time.
It is. I do want to mention the Ableton user group for Los Angeles, if that's okay, if we can talk about that.
Yeah, please. Because you got a meeting coming up.
We got a meeting coming up. Yes, I'm very excited about it because I'm running the Los Angeles user group meetings for Ableton for a long time now, 10 years, I don't know how long. And we used to be very active. We used to meet at different music schools around LA, but we stopped because of the pandemic, and we haven't met for over 2 years. We did an online meeting last month. Couple of weeks ago, there was an official event at the Ableton offices in Pasadena. They have big offices here in Pasadena. It was their official event. I was hosting it. And it was great, kind of like more like a push, kind of a lot of presentation and stuff. But that was the first time kind of the Ableton community, at least in LA, came together in kind of this big, in this case was official event for Ableton, which was great. So I'm very excited. We have a meeting coming up November 15th. It's going to be in a music school in LA called Point Blank, which is an international school. I'm sure some people heard of it. They have a branch here, a new branch actually. They moved locations in LA, which I didn't see yet, so I'm excited to see that. November 15th at night, we're going to have a few presenters, including Kobe. Kobe is a crazy finger drummer, and he's going to show how to just build drum racks for finger drumming.
Cool.
A super awesome guy. I'm going to do some push 3 beat making, and we're also going to have Connor who's going to showcase a really cool app on the iPhone called Scheme, which is really great for Ableton and stuff for mapping. And we're also going to have Alberto, which I'm sure you met. From Alberto, from Ableton, visiting town, just kind of checking in, just want to check out the user group, and he's going to talk about all the exciting stuff that Ableton has going for them, and that's it. We're just super excited to do it again, finally bring back the community. Before the pandemic, we used to have a few super big events, so we really want to bring the community back together, kind of reinstate all this community. And I personally, as the leader of the community, are still kind of trying to explore different platforms on how to communicate with the community. Maybe you have some suggestions, because we used to do it on Facebook. It doesn't seem that Facebook is as popular as it used to be. Now we're trying alongside Facebook to also use meetup.com. It's another website. But if anyone have any suggestions, of course, we're open to it. But yeah, if you want to check it out, just search Los Angeles user group. Ableton user group Los Angeles. Ableton user group Los Angeles. You can find probably or the meetup or the meetup.com or the Facebook group. Either or works. We already posted the flyers and everything for the next event, November 15th. So if you're in LA, highly recommend checking it out. I can't say why, but this one specifically, you should check it out. But there's going to be amazing presenters and really great opportunity to bring all the community together. Yes.
Do you guys do any video for that? I know
so
the
if
point
it's
is
online,
to be in person.
Yeah. If it's online, there's always a video. There's actually already a video of our last meetup from last month. It was a workshop about synthesis with wavetable and drift. And it's online. You can check it out. It's actually on my website, but you can't get to it from the website. You have to go, and hopefully I can share a link. But if you go to that Facebook group or the meetup group, you can see those links there. Essentially, I will say it, and if it's a video, people can pause it, or just the audio, people can pause it. It's sidebrain.net, okay? / let me make sure I'm actually saying it correctly. So it's sidebrain.net, sidebrain.net /Ableton-user-group-Los Angeles. Okay, Ableton User Group Los Angeles. And that's what Ableton User Group Los Angeles, it's also what you should search if you want to join our Facebook group, or if you want to join the meetup.com and get notified about all the future meetings and stuff. Okay, and they're all free, they're open, they're for the community. We always bring special guests and stuff like that. Officially from Ableton, a lot of times they bring us swag to give away, bags and stickers and stuff. So it's supported by Ableton, and it's all for the community.
That's awesome. So good to hear that it's happening in person again too.
Yeah, dude, me too.
There's nothing like that. We're lucky we had Zoom. We're lucky we have online for.
Honestly,
we got through all that, but
I appreciate it more now. I'm more now than ever. I was yes, I can't wait. Excited to see everyone present all those things.
Yeah, I think I saw some video from the Pasadena thing that happened. Chuck Sutton was there.
Oh yeah.
Chuck was doing some pretty awesome stuff.
Chuck is crazy. He does amazing.
Yeah, I want to talk to him. I've been following him too for a while.
Definitely, yeah.
He's a cool guy.
Stuff. Very cool guy. Super nice. I got connected with him actually a night before. There was another event for I. It's a headphone company.
Yeah, I got a pair of them
here next to my house. So a very good friend of mine who used to be for 12 years in Ableton, kind of not ran his course. He just, he needed a change. So he switched to I. Now he runs their kind of US operations. And they did an event with Kobe that I mentioned, the finger drummer, showcasing the new wireless low latency speakers that they just released.
Yeah.
That's where I met Chuck. Yeah. That's the Mother School. That's where I met Chuck. And Chuck is an awesome guy. He presented, and you should definitely have him. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, and I saw you just had Alexia. Was that? Did you just had Alexia, Rainer? Or there was something.
No, I think maybe Dan did on Ableton Music Producers podcast.
Yeah, because she was interviewing Chuck at Pasadena. That's just the connection there. She was the main the moderator of Chuck's presentation.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'll put a link to all the stuff that you're mentioning.
Okay, amazing. Yes, thank you. So much stuff.
I'm taking notes furiously.
Also, I can't. You know what? I will say what it is, but me and a developer, Omar Hamidu, he's from Portugal. Really great developer. He's in Portugal, and we're working together. We used to work together in the past to develop Max for live devices for BitLab. And we have a bunch of great ones that are no longer available for download. We're going to re-release them through Sidebrain. The one is coming up very soon. I just want to put it out there. It's a Max for device that you can put right before Wavetable or Drift. And for me, what I wanted a way to make Wavetable and Drift more like 8-bit synthesizers, kind of like this old school stuff. So what it does, it's a sequencer. You put it on, you map it to the oscillator pitch, and then the oscillator pitch just runs through. There's a lot of chords. There's like 30 types of chords, but it runs through very quickly the pitching of the oscillator. And you can do that to all oscillators. So it just turns the wavetable and drift into these 8-bit oscillators. It should be out very soon. I just want to say that it's another thing that right now we're working on, releasing some Max for Live devices, mostly like this type of small tools to do some. And of course, I'll make a tutorial and I'll showcase what it's all about. Just want to put it out there and shout out to
I love that. That 8-bit anything, and I'm in.
8-bit. That's all I got to say. 8-bit. Yeah. I'm there. But
right. That sounds like a lot of fun.
So that is a lot of fun. That's for sure. I'm already testing it out. It works great. It's super fun.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, listen, I know you got to go. You got some things.
I know.
Happening
Yes,
here.
It's Halloween at the kids' school.
Yep.
Fall festival. I don't know if you noticed. I just need a hat. I have a cowboy outfit on me. I just
do you?
I need to bring the hat, and so I want to.
It looks good.
Thank you. I won't disappoint the kids. I gotta wear a costume. But Brian, this was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I had a great time. I knew we would, and I guess we'll have to do another sometime.
Honestly, the time went by so quickly.
Many,
I would love to do another one, and I would love to check out. How do I get into your monthlies? How is that? What you said something about you meeting monthly online?
Oh yeah, I do that through my music production club, and it's just a Zoom meeting. Yeah, I'll send you so that
awesome.
You can show up, and we mostly like make music together live. We do some prompt, and then we go for it. It's been really fun lately to just create, and then we share what we made. And it's high pressure. You only got like an hour, but the cool thing about that is it takes the pressure off in a way, because no one's making a masterpiece.
Right.
But it's, what did you do with this weird prompt we came up with?
And I'll try to continue it and finish it.
Yeah. And it's just, again, it's just one of those, it's like when you go to the gym and there's other people that are still working out, and you're like, well, I can't stop because that guy's still doing push-ups, whatever it is. So it gets you motivated. It's very similar to that.
Absolutely.
Well, nice. So I got all this stuff in the show notes, but sidebrain.net for you guys listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Yeuda, for being here. This is awesome, and to be continued.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Music Production Podcast. If you want to help support the show, the best thing you can do is tell a friend, someone you think that would enjoy the show. I'd also love it if you could leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want to support my work, you can go to brianfunk.com. I've got tons of Ableton Live Packs, tutorials, samples. You can check out my book, The 5-Minute Music Producer, which gives you 365 short music-making activities to help you get started, stay inspired, and finish more music. And there's also the Music Production Club, where you get my latest releases as soon as they're finished. It gives you access to a community of like-minded people who are making music and sharing ideas. You can share your music, find new collaborators, and participate in our live meetings where we set up some kind of musical challenge and then make music together and share our results at the end. That's the Music Production Club. It's a lot of fun, and you can find that and everything that I do at brianfunk.com. Thanks again for listening to the show, and have a great day.